Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. This should be one of my first uploads on this channel where I am doing nails and telling you a story time. Um, just so we're all on the same page, the story time is happening separately from the nails. So this is a voiceover. I have at this point a nail set that I have like that I want to do, but I haven't recorded it yet, nor have I sat down and done them. Anyway, but something brought it to my attention. I follow Salute Marie, and she just told a story about working with the side chick. It was a call center kind of beef thing. Anyway, that was the title. I'm actually reading it right now. Anyway, I wanted to share with y'all a story time, and hopefully I can get it done fast because I am emphasizing just doing the thing, but also like a miss doing other things and getting other tasks done. Anyway, but listening to her story time about her call center experience, where she left us off on a cliffhanger. That's so crazy. But anyway, let's move on. Let me tell you about the call center situation that I had. It was a call center beef. Now, if you follow me on Forever Coco Chanel channel, that's my lifestyle channel where I'm like interacting more on the camera. Then you know I have story times about call centers and the drama that happens in them. But this was so much earlier in my call center experience. And so let's just get into it. So there was a young lady that I went to school with, and she was looking for a job. She was someone that I would hang out with. We weren't very close, but we would hang out with each other during like the summer, when we didn't have anything else to do. So one summer we're hanging out, and she lets me know, I'm pretty sure either I had a job or I was looking for a job, or the job that I was working was going to be coming to an end. It was probably something that was seasonal. And so she was telling me about this open house that she had known about, and I'm pretty sure she didn't have a car. So when she told me about it, we both agreed that we would go, like I would take us, and then we would be going together. And so I don't know if she did get the job because I don't remember seeing her at the building after that. Like I can't recall her and I ever working together or seeing each other at this location after this initial visit. So anyway, her and I, we go to the open house, and we're meeting the HR recruiters and this and this and that. And perhaps, I can't recall clearly right now, but maybe we got the job on the spot. Maybe, specifically me, I can't tell you what happened with her. But we got the job, I got the job, whether that was they called me later or whether they told me that at the location. But it was a temp agency that was renting out a space in a AAA building. And if you know where I am from, then I've told you too much. But if you didn't, you just know that this was a department within a bigger company. And so I was going to be working as a roadside assistance, dispatcher for a rental company. Specifically, I was working with Hertz. And so the temporary agency that we had been working for, they had different departments as well, like enterprise. It was rental cars and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm working. Oh, excuse me. So I get the job, and if I'm not mistaken, the training was like 3 weeks. It was something long. It was a lot of work, to be honest with you. Like, you had to really know what you were doing once you were going to be on the floor. And so and I say we as like me and the people who were also in the training. So we would meet early in the day. I know I'm not mistaken, I was carrying my second son I'm pretty sure I was, no, I was halfway through my pregnancy. I probably got that job, let's say it was like May or April. I gave birth in September. So I was probably just like early in my pregnancy. I remember one time I was feeling very sick at the in the training, and I left just maybe an hour or two, probably 2 to 3 hours before it was the training was over. I went to the hospital and I was diagnosed with dehydration. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but it was like chronic. Like I remember how much in pain I was. But my point is, me being there was specifically for money, specifically because at that time I thought you had to have like a 9 to 5 in order to make it, and I had my oldest son and I needed to make some money. And so during this job, I remember the girl who recommended me to work there, she would actually watch my son when I did go to work. So again, I don't know why she didn't get the job, but yeah, she did. She helped me out by watching my oldest during this time. Anyway, so I'm working at the place. I'm in the training, and I also brought up my, you know, physical state, my health condition, because I was very neutral. In call centers, a lot of times people join, other, like they join groups or they gather into groups, and it be their own little clique, it be their own little whatever. And so people would go to lunch with each other and stuff like that. I remember the location had a cafe that they would advertise, like, as like a employee benefit, like, oh, the cafeteria, this and this and that, perhaps because it was really diverse in the options. And it was good. It wasn't like gourmet, but it was good. It was decent. And it made you feel like you were not at work, like it was a large space. So anyway, moral of the story is people did gather within the call center spaces. They did kind of join people that they felt, they had built connections with. And so, and I don't know how long this story time is going to be, because I like to just get to the point. So what happened? So people was clicking up. And I want to call this girl's name because it is so quote unquote, that's what we'll call her. We'll call her Unique, because her name is very similar to that name or the word. So we're going to call her Unique. But there was other people, right? There was probably like 15 of us, if not 20. And so we would, do group, we would be divided into groups sometimes. Sometimes we would work, like when we would recap what we learned for the day, for the week, we would do that as a group and stuff like that. It was fun. It was very interactive. I remember the name of the trainer, and I'm pretty sure she did not work there. She just was someone who was a facilitator, because she was very, she was like that, as far as like just being very knowledgeable and being able to like get information across. And anyway, what am I saying? I'm saying that we had been working there quite a while, right? Like the 3-week training that was happening, we had been around each other for quite a while. And so Unique was someone who was very vocal, she was very expressive. And I remember her always bringing up her daughter. And she would sometimes have her boyfriend come and eat lunch with her down at the cafeteria. And so one day, and again, I just like to get to the point, right? What happened was, so one day, like I said, this was throughout the 3 weeks, maybe it was 3 to 4 weeks, but anyway, she had the boyfriend come to meet with her at the cafeteria one day. And then, and this was cool. Like I said, I remember her clique, being aware of him. I would just hear about him because she would bring him up once we were all in the class together. And what happened, so this was in the morning. So one day in the morning, we are doing maybe group work, right? Where sometimes when you're in a classroom setting and a teacher kind of breaks you up into groups, it's easy to get off track and talk about things that are not related to the task at hand. And so this was early in the morning. This was not long after Unique had had her boyfriend meet her at the cafeteria. And she had did that more than once, because sometimes they would meet, and I remember walking uh from my car to, back to the training room, and they were like coming in or coming out of the building. And so I do remember having put eyes on him, but because like I said, I had my own medical condition, and once a guy is spoken for, I'm not, my radar for him is immediately off. Like, I'm not that person. And so whatever, however, people are like that, right? And so that brings me to my point. So this morning, after she had had him physically in the building, parading him around, doing whatever she wanted to do, I'm not slighting her for that. The day she came in the next day, she was trying to, like, she was in her bag. Maybe they had them a good little night or whatever, but she was like bragging on him. She was like, oh, he brings me, he gives me flowers. He picks up my daughter. He this and this, he that. Just saying how good of a man he was, if I'm not mistaken, because I know I'm not reaching. There was nothing that I was reaching, but I did learn something from here, and we'll get to that lesson after this. Anyway, I'm pretty sure she was talking about how their sexual interactions is. Like, she was laying it out, like how good of a man he is, or how happy in that relationship she is. And I'm pretty sure she was really getting into how he was making her feel around that time. And she was not discreet about it. There were, like, even if you were not listening or you were not in the conversation that she was having, you heard what she was saying, and you know what I'm saying? So anyway, so the lesson that I learned is, one, mind your business, right? Like, literally, no matter how much wisdom you have, if someone hasn't solicited your wisdom, your input into whatever it is that they got going on, because you never know what they got going on, really, right? Somebody could say something, but they may be, and I'm not saying this is a unique situation, but somebody could be telling you, oh, they got inheritance coming in, da 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 da, and say that was a similar situation. But if their bank account is on the last leg, or they are struggling to care for, certain responsibilities, you telling them to, like, you inputting your input in it may trigger them, because the truth isn't what they are presenting, and the truth is actually very much more sensitive to them than they want to present, right? People live in delusions all the time. And so I said to, I almost said her name, I said to Unique, I said to her, and it was really not, like, I know for a fact that I didn't take any tone with her, because me and her never had any interactions other than, what was necessary for the training, nor did we have any interactions or awareness of each other that would have put us in a bad light together prior to me, telling her this. So yeah, I know for a fact that I didn't take no, like, attitude with her. So her response was crazy, to me at least. So what happened was, I was like, Unique, not you promoting your man, not you promoting him, like, advertising your man, and you don't know these people in here. Like, you be having him here, and I'm saying the way I'm saying it now, but I'm pretty sure I said it, like, real quick, and whatever, to her. Like, it was quick, it was not drawn out, and it was just pretty much like, you hear yourself promoting your man to a group of people. who, you know what I'm saying, pretty much don't have any loyalty to you, one, but two, you be having him here. So like you gonna promote your man right into another chick hands, like whatever. And so when Unique responded, Unique, I'm pretty sure, and I can't remember verbatim, but I do remember being like, oh well, she ain't take that the way that I meant it, but she was real offended. Like, I have no idea, and I don't even want to lie about her response. But I remember her and I at that point having gotten off on the wrong foot. Whereas me personally, I'm like, how the fuck is you promoting your man to the next person? You know what I mean? Like there were guys in the training group with us, but there was majority of women. And so, and again, she was having him there at the location. So not you talking about, and again, she was talking about their sexual experiences. And how good of a stepdad he was showing up as. And so I'm thinking like, girl, are you dumb? Are you stupid? Are you slow? And I, again, very homegirl-ish in my delivery, but her response was someone who had been triggered. That's just what it is. Because I remember, like I said, being like, okay, well, what the fuck is her problem? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really didn't understand why her reaction was what it was. Anyway, so moving forward, because we possibly were towards the tail end of our, this could have been the last day or days of our training, which means that we were going to go into the production floor, the production portion of the job. Up until this point, we may have gone for certain hours during the day, you know, as we were getting close to the 3 weeks period of being up and done with training, but we had not seen the production floor, nor had we known anybody else in the company besides each other, those of us that was in the training. Anyway, so we get into the production of the job, and we're working in this job, and you know, things were cool because I remember having worked there. I don't know if I've ever worked anywhere longer than 8 months at a time. So there's that. And this was one of my earlier customer service jobs. And so what happened was we were working in this job. We had seats. It was random. You could choose your seat every day that you come in. You can choose the same seat that you come in, you know, that you go to every day, if it's available during your shift. And so what happened was one of these days, like, so we had to be working there for months at this point. And so, but I was still carrying. So it wasn't like a long time. I think I stopped working there in October. My son was born in September. And so closer to, we can call it July, whoa. So like July, we can even call, right? July, around that time. What happened was, let me tell you what happened. So we were working there, and I was sitting in a space where I'm pretty sure I came in before her, before Unique, because she left after me. And so I remember I was working from 6 to 2 a.m. And so she must have came in after me because she worked later, like I said, to, you know, whatever. So I'm sitting in this like main area in this, like the center row. And there's cubicle kind of spaces, but it wasn't 100% enclosed. Like you have the cubicle desk, and you even have like the back wall and maybe a side wall that divides the person next to you, but the other side, like one of the two sides, is slanted, and so it appears to be an open desk, like an open work area, because we were all, most of the time, communicating to people behind us, to the side of us, and things like that. And so one day I'm sitting in my cubicle, my desk, and I'm working, and I'm on a phone call, and she was not on a phone call. And she was talking to, you know, other people that was in the row, like that little row that we were in. Let me say this, there are rows outside, like, you know, there's, we're in the center, but then there's rows outside of the row that we were in. And so again, there was many places that anybody could have sat, but she sat in the same row as me. All right, bet, cool, no problem, whatever. But again, from one of our first interactions, I realized that we weren't like cool, we weren't chilling or whatever. And so what happened is homegirl was talking to someone who was like, she was at the top of the row. Like, so you might come into the door during your shift and you got the manager's like desk. It was called like they have, it's where the bat phone be at, right? So they had like the manager's, supervisor's kind of desk area at the top of the room where you might pass before you seat yourself or whatever. And so she was sitting closer to their kind of table desk thing, whereas I'm sitting in the middle of the row. And so I'm sitting there and I'm doing my work. I'm on a call, and Unique was talking to someone who was closer to they were on the opposite side of me. So she's at the top of the row. They're on the pretty much bottom portion of this row in the call center that we're in. And so they were talking. I'm on a call. At some point, I feel that Unique comes right behind me, and she stands there. Now, she's just talking. I do remember this, like, whatever. And again, I don't know what was up Unique ass, but Unique wasn't fucking with me. And so, but I wasn't fucking with her either. So let's clock the T. Once I realized that she had an issue, whatever. So what happened was, I turn around. Once I get off my call, maybe I had to mute my call. I don't even know. Maybe I got off my call. I don't remember. But let's just say that I got off my call. So I got off my call, and the calls are automatic incoming. So perhaps she didn't have a call yet, but I had wrapped up my call, and before I got a new call, I turned around and I was like, Unique, like, can you not stand behind me? Like, we're not that cool, and, can you just not stand behind me? It was very simple, right? Y'all, why did this chick, is what I'm gonna call her, this bothered chick, and let me just tell y'all how Unique looked, and maybe I'll have to move this portion to the front of the story time. Unique was a slim, light-skinned black girl. She was red. She wasn't yellow. She was red, and she has some thick bifocals. She would wear her hair in like small twist hairstyles, and she would dress like a librarian. Like, not the dresses, but she would wear the shirt, like she would wear like these these cover up, like I can't think of what they're called, but it's like when you say you have spaghetti straps on, and so you use something like a little, it's not a jacket, it's like, I don't know, I keep wanting to say camisole, but it's not a camisole. She would wear and it was like very flowy, the type of cover thingy that she would wear. And she would always wear some skinny jeans, I don't know. And then she was someone who wore like wedges or some type of platform shoe. And so you could tell that she was a tryhard. I don't know. She never looked like she was an it girl. In fact, now that I'm looking back on it, perhaps she only knew criticism as an attack instead of feedback, because there was never a time where I just approached her on some rah, but that's how she always took it. So that's what I'm gonna really say. Like, I think that she was someone who had always gotten, maybe bullied. Maybe she always, what I mean? And she could have been from a certain location, a certain area where she did feel like she had to always have her guard up, or her, be on the defense. But anyway, in this space that we were in, it was too close for comfort. And for me personally, I think another thing about her is that I did assume that she was an adult and, carried herself that way, because she was always talking about her daughter. There was a lot of times where, she would talk about her life outside of work, and she was always, talking about her daughter, like, and her parental duties and stuff like that. And so I thought I was talking to a civilized adult, but every time it was that I had said something to the girl, she went flying off the handles. So she went to cussing, like, I mean, literally snapping, like, What did she say to me? Let me say this. I cannot remember verbatim. My youngest son is gonna be 10 years old in September of this year, so I have no idea, right? And this was before he was born. So and that's a part of why I, one, get to the point, and two, why it's a little difficult for me to get started with story times, because I don't remember every single detail, but I do also enjoy story times, and I figured that there are some juicy and similar story times that I have to other people, and I'm like, why not share it? So anyway, but Unique went to getting, uniquely slick out the mouth, and she went to like, oh, don't even talk to me because da-da-da-da-da-da, and butter. She was like, I remember her saying something about like, your stomach pregnant, but your face ain't. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And for me personally, like, I'm a very non-confrontational person or whatever like that. And again, I was more so taken aback every time she would look up, because it was never giving that. So I never really understood where she was coming from. Granted, I think I get it now, but she was always like, on fire towards me or towards people who spoke up to her. Anyway, I let her know, like, girl, you already know what time I get off, and I'm parked in the I was very clear about where I had parked at. I said, and I'm parked in the second floor of the parking garage. So if you want to meet me there, don't meet me there, beat me there. Like, I was literally like, at this point, it's whatever. It's, and it's up if you want it to be up, because you don't get to threaten me or whatever. And so once I started speaking up to her, because that's what it is. I believe, like, the first time that she had said whatever she had said, after I said whatever I had said, I remember just, like I said, being taken aback and just kind of giving her that. Like, oh, okay, you a little sensitive about that, and or being like kind of in my head, like, well, I was just trying to help. So then the second time, with all of that rah, and it wasn't the difference that we were in front of people, because we were in front of people the first time. It was that, bitch, my face ain't pregnant. Bitch, I promise you gonna have to really give it up to even get to my face. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's never giving you were gonna be carrying me. It never gave you was gonna be handling me. It never gave, like, even though I am, non-confrontational, it never gave that I avoid confrontation. It never gave that if confrontation was to find me, that I'm not here for it. So I let her know, like, girl, you can meet me wherever you want to meet me. It's up. We can do whatever you want to do, like, whatever. And so that happened, and this was at night, right? Because obviously I said I started at 6. It took her however long it took her to get in. What happened? I don't believe, let me say this, because I ended up getting called by HR because of it. That was the end of it, right? Her, not even, when I said whatever I said, she may have gone back to her side of the row, but I'm pretty sure she was saying things under her breath. Like, I don't give her, oh, she was shook, or, oh, she, whatever. I'm pretty sure she's, was saying stuff, and I remember just saying what I was saying, but I was done. Like, bitch, you excuse my language. Girl, I'm parked over here. I get off at this time, and if you want to meet me there, then don't meet me there, beat me there. Like, let's go, and so when I got off, but I'm pretty sure that there was let me say this, I'm pretty sure there was a couple days, like, maybe I had off, but before I got in, and I was late at work, like, to work sometimes, and that's why I can't work anybody's 9 to 5, baby. I'm on my time. And a lot of jobs, they think that your attendance, as far as, like, when you're coming in on time or not, they feel like, oh, that's your whether you're a good employee or not starts before you're here. No, baby, you don't pay me before I'm here. When I get there is when you can, right? When I'm on your clock, this is when you can start dictating when, how, and why I do shit. But again, I don't do all that. No, I'm not doing all that. So I was always late, and that's just how it is. But anyway, I'm not sure what ended up happening as far as why HR reached out to me. Because HR, I had some time off, right? It was my off days. I do remember that exclusively or explicitly. But it was my time, it was my couple days off. And then before in or earlier in the day before HR closed and before it was time for me to go in for my shift, I get a call from HR. And so when I get this call, it is about reprimanding me about the interaction that I had with Unique. And I'm like, me? This girl threatened me. What do y'all mean that y'all are calling me and trying to reprimand me about, our interaction? And again, maybe it was because the managers were right there. Perhaps that's why HR got involved, but I remember asking them, like, have y'all talked to her? Because she was the one who initiated the threats with me. And I let them know, like, I'm a pregnant woman and this is what she said to me. And I remember saying, like, don't chastise me about nothing I said. Y'all contact her and chastise her, and then y'all let me know how that goes. You know what I mean? Like, that's what y'all should have been calling me about. Like, don't call me talking about this and this and that when I'm a pregnant woman who just got threatened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't initiate any type of hostile environment, nor did I introduce conflict with this girl. So don't, you know what I mean? I was really offended. I was hotter than fish grease. And so I said that. I was like, y'all call her and y'all tell her what you were telling me, and then you tell me how that went. Don't call me, you know what I'm saying? And so, moral of the story is, before I was going to leave to go in, they let me know, they called me, HR called me back, and they were like, as a combination of, the situation and your tardies, as well as the ways you just talked to our HR, team member, employee, whatever, we're going to go ahead and part ways. And so it is what it is. I didn't work there anymore after that. It was one of my higher paying jobs, or call center jobs that I had worked during that time, like, overall. And so it was annoying. And while everybody was getting paid bi-weekly, this call center, because of their, like, departments and how they worked, we got paid weekly. And so there was some cake, there was some cheese that was made there, but that's neither here nor there. Stop playing with me. I don't play like that. And so it is what it is. It's been years since then. I don't even think about it. I have tried to reapply, like, years later. And I guess they got me on some, no hire list. I did get several interviews and went to several orientations. But at some point they catch on and then they separate. And it is what it is. I've never seen Unique again. I don't know if Unique has improved her attitude. I do know that I mind my business and I let people figure out what they need to figure out on their own. I'm still not somebody who looks at people, man, when they have a man. In fact, if you have a man, I think something wrong with you. I genuinely do. Like, I just don't think that you got the man that everybody has been, like, wishing for. Like, I'm pretty sure you're putting up with some shit, and I'm pretty sure that you're the only one who's, there's other girls that in the world that would put up with whatever you putting up with. It just ain't me. And so, and that being said, I'm pretty sure Unique was lying. Let's talk about it. Let's clock it. There's a lot of women out here, or people, period, out here that will glamorize and or over hype their situation because it feels good to be, like, when you are telling people about a certain space in your life, you're telling them a storyline that you would prefer it to be versus how it really is. That feels good. That offers dopamine, especially, like, to continue to endure the situation. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are not living in their truth, and it's the easiest person to tell a lie to is a stranger or someone who doesn't know you, right? So looking back on it, I can definitely see how Unique could have been faking, faking it to kick it. Because again, anytime that her tea, she felt like the shit was being clocked, she started to threaten to clock shit. And so it was very weird. I'm glad I've never seen her or encountered anyone like her since then. Anyway, call centers can be crazy, and that is one of the stories that I have about how crazy a call center experience was for me. There are many and plenty of other stories similar to just call centers being crazy, because I worked 7 years in call centers before I decided to get a degree in HR and business administration, so that I can get out of call centers, right? Anyway, because they be calling you and cussing at you like you did them something. Baby, I can help you out, but you ain't gonna be calling me or talking to me crazy. And anybody could be like, oh, you just da 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 da. No, I'm someone who, like I said, I ain't going for it. Anyway, I hope you like this video. I don't know if the video is continuing to go for the nail design, but if you did like this video, comment below what was your favorite part. Let me know if you've experienced something different. I would even say for any of my watchers, for any of my viewers, if you are considering doing something creative or, taking a chance on yourself, I would highly recommend that you do. This channel is new to me, but I figured that a lot of people can enjoy some nice gossip, some nice tea while watching a nail tutorial. Like, it's not even a tutorial, it's more of a, entertainment, something to kill the time, nail design video. Yeah. And so in this video, it's very possible that I'm using acrylic and stuff like that. I am going to open up my application process because I've been using acrylic for the entire time that I've been self-taught. But let me tell you, I'm willing to open up my application processes because I just don't think I think like people really be working their acrylic. They be eating it up. They be controlling the acrylic and really get, whatever. I just don't think that I'm getting any better at controlling acrylic. I think the acrylic is controlling me. And what I want is a nice outcome, a cute design. I'm not in it for the conquering of challenges and the obstacles. Like, I have enough. So you can look out for new application processes as well as new inspo in the designs that I'm coming up with, because I have this cute one. I don't know if it's gonna be this video or another one, but I'm super excited about the design. Yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video just to, show YouTube that this is something you're interested in and help other people find it as well. I'm gonna leave it off here and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Hold up.